Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Charitable Home Care. Very glad you are joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And one of the things about this particular fall is some of the options that everybody has. And it's because this is a great time for people to consider what they want to do and if they want to get back to school. One of the ways to be able to do that, we welcome in Dr. Kristine Strickland, with the Chancellor with Fletcher Technical Community College. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. So glad to be here.
And as mentioned, it's an exciting time for Fletcher. Mm-hmm. It's an exciting time for our community as the rebuilds are coming back. But people can actually rebuild and retrain their lives if they'd like. And it's a great opportunity to be back at school.
100%. So, you talk about it, the renewal of our community as we, continue to recover for the storm. But I think you do have such an awesome opportunity. A lot of times big events like that, they make you rethink your future and where you want to go with your life. And Fletcher's here for you. Fletcher's here for everybody in our community to, whether it's that you want to do something new completely, start a new career, or you want to upskill or try to do something different. But yeah, we have, I think, just about something for everybody's interest.
And that's a really good thing. And more importantly, y'all have some new programs and a different way to do that. Tell us a little bit about this new 8-week schedule. That's got to be something unique.
Absolutely. So part of Fletcher's renewal, right?
Okay.
We came out of IDA, and one of the things that we saw was we had students who reached out to us and said, look, I want to continue my education. I just need a couple more weeks. And the way we were originally set up, we were set up in these 16-week semesters, very traditional higher education.
Right.
And we realized that if we had had the opportunity to get students back enrolled, some students would have been able to finish this fall semester. Mm-hmm. And some students wouldn't have had to wait all the way to January. So when we came back after the holidays, we started talking about that, and we started doing some research. And it turns out that students, especially adults, they learn better in shorter time frames. What we saw in the research and the statistics and everything we looked at was that students who study in 8 weeks, because they're a little more focused and because it's condensed, it's not like this 4-month-long journey, they withdraw from classes in fewer numbers, and they have higher success.
Wow.
And so we began to say, well, how can we do something like that at Fletcher? And kudos to the faculty. They jumped right on it. Initially, we thought maybe January of 23, but they came back and said, we can do this for this fall.
Wow.
So every program, now with the exception of our nursing program.
Right, which needs a lot more,
correct.
Lots more longevity for the program itself.
Right, but each of our programs is now in an 8-week format. And so what we do is we limit the number of classes students take. They're concentrating on 1, 2, or 3 classes if they're feeling particularly energetic about school.
Right.
But they go for 8 weeks. And the feedback initially has been tremendous. People are saying, I can do 8 weeks. I can fit 8 weeks in my life as opposed to trying to plan for August to December. And all of life's events that can happen, whether it's I lost transportation, my child care has changed, my work hours, a lot of times, and so it's just been a fantastic opportunity, great feedback, but we're really trying to provide our community with more opportunities to get enrolled. So guess what? If you decided that August wasn't the time, our next 8-week session, October 17th.
Wow.
So you can get enrolled today.
Wow. See, and again, it's one of those things where anybody can do anything for like this period of time. But if they look at it and they get overwhelmed by it, then they're going to have a whole lot less success. But anybody can go, 8 weeks? I can do 8 weeks. I can do 8 weeks. And they can impact their schedule. They have control over impacting their schedule a whole lot better. What a wonderful transition to be able to do that. That's just really exciting. Now let's talk about some of the short-term training as well.
Sure. So lots of short-term training. That's really where we're seeing higher education go nationally.
Okay.
Lots of folks who are saying, look, I need to be able to get into school, get out of school, get to work, supporting my family or supporting myself, and they're looking for skills. And quite frankly, industry partners, our workforce partners, are saying we need skilled. I mean, I don't think you can go any place these days without somebody saying we have a workforce shortage.
Right.
Restaurants, Walmart,
Right.
you name
Yeah,
it.
that's exactly everywhere.
Exactly.
Especially right here where we are.
And so we don't have that luxury of time, again, to get people to full degrees. But we need to be able to put together short-term skills. And what we've done at Fletcher is we've created what we call stackable credentials. So you come in and you get a credential, and maybe you go to work, and then you come back in, you get that next credential, and you're actually all the while working your way toward a degree. So you're not doing something that takes you off track. It's right in line with where you want to go. So we're doing a lot more of that. We have some trainings that maybe are 2 days, 3 days to a new career. We have some maybe a little bit longer. But I think the other thing that's really exciting is that our state has really begun to recognize the value of these credentials. And so we have a whole host of funding options. We have dollars if you want to go into nursing and allied health. We have dollars if you're interested in manufacturing or maybe in a lot of the infrastructure work that's coming into our community. And so, you know, there's quite a few of my programs right now. You could come to Fletcher for free.
And I want to put a pin in that for a very short time, for about 2 minutes, until we can really expand on that. The one thing that I really love is that we, as an educational mentality, got away from this stepping stone process. You've brought it back because it makes sense for what skills are needed in what we need in our community and in our culture right now. Right. I love the fact that sometimes it's not like bell bottoms. This is something that came back that is very useful and helpful. Let's talk about some of these funding opportunities that we haven't seen for some time.
Sure. So this past legislative session, our legislature actually made some significant commitment to dollars to help individuals reskill in our community. One of the bigger funds is called the HERO Fund, and it is to encourage individuals to consider nursing or allied health as a career profession. And again, this idea that you can stack credentials. So a great example of that is coming in and getting a short-term certificate in phlebotomy, or maybe a certified nurse assistant, enables you to go out, get a good job.
And they're available. Those jobs are out and available right now, right?
Absolutely. There is a critical shortage.
Right.
And a very, very high demand, great wages, right?
Yep.
Family-sustaining types of careers.
Right.
But then from there, once you have your CNA, coming back and then begin working on maybe your licensed practical nurse or going on to that associate degree in nursing. And there's funding available right now today for you to come in and pursue those career options. On the other side of the house, so to speak, I mean, truck drivers, high demand.
Huge.
In 6 weeks, you could go from maybe being in, a minimum wage job to something that's going to pay significant salaries.
Yeah. And as much as 6 digits a lot of times.
Correct.
Right?
And a lot of those programs, CDL, our line worker program, even those have funding available so that when we bring you in, a lot of times no cost to the student. And it really is about finding individuals who are really ready and interested and excited about a career path that, again, is going to enable them to support themselves, support their families, be really active and get to stay in our community, which is also really important to us. At little to no cost for them. And so those dollars, we have some dollars out there called Reboot. It's Reboot Your Career.
All right.
And
maybe it's time for a reboot.
Always time for a reboot. And again, fully funds a number of industry-based credentials and short-term certifications that you can work right here in this community. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to travel. Come to Fletcher. You get those skills. And then we actually just hired a job placement coordinator.
Oh, my.
That person's whole job at our institution is to help our graduates connect and get jobs.
Yeah. Where can I go work?
Absolutely.
Where will I be able to thrive with what I've learned?
Right.
Now,
Because that's what's important. I was just going to say that when you think about Fletcher, ultimately our job is to help you get into the workforce. Right? And so we want to make sure that students aren't left hanging, telling them, hey, go look at that job board and see if you can find something. No, we're going to make sure that we work to place you in a place you're going to be happy.
And again, that's the one thing, is helping people be productive,
Yep.
healthy, and happy in what they're doing. Got to work.
Yep.
Might as well enjoy it and be able to get people to connect us where we need to be. It's interesting that very often I spend my time driving around. I spend a lot of windshield time. I'm looking at still so many broken homes, so many homes that need a little bit of work, so many homes that need a lot of work. But y'all even have some options to help train and teach people and be able to come in. And y'all have kind of partnered with our local parish government to do that.
We did. We did. And I think you're going to see more of that in the coming months. Shortly after Ida, Fletcher went out and we offered a couple of short-term, I mean, these were day-long programs where you came in, our instructors taught you things like how to remove and rehang sheetrock, how to do basic electrical. So hopefully if you decided to work on your home, you wouldn't electrocute yourself.
Right, waiting on a contractor,
correct,
right?
Waiting on a contractor, I know as we all have done, but we saw a lot of value in those courses, and we hope to bring those back in the upcoming months. These, again, are open to the community. They are free. We want to be able to take what we do really well in the community college in our trades, electrical, HVAC, carpentry, and be able to give our community the skills they need so they can begin to recover. And, you know, we were having this conversation the other day, you know, at some point we will need to find more permanent housing for a lot of folks who are still either in temporary housing or in trailers, right? And part of that is being able to rebuild your home.
Right.
So instead of waiting for 6 weeks for an electrician, and I just recently did that, right? So we all are kind of feeling that pinch point, but being able to come to Fletcher and get some really basic skills. And who knows, you may find that you're really good at that,
right,
and you want to pursue it. But out of the storm, we are reinstating our carpentry program. So right now we are hiring a faculty member and hope to get some students who are interested in carpentry. And, you know, the beauty of Fletcher is, even if you say, well, I don't know that I want to be an electrician, but I have an interest, you can come over and take any of our classes just for continuing education, you know, personal enrichment.
So it's really interesting. The only person that I ever knew that really wanted to go and do those things, and I'm a little disappointed because my wife is probably going to expect me to go and do some of these things, and I'm just not very handy at all. But the one, it was a doctor in town, God rest his soul, Dr. McGaw, had so many other interests. This would have been something he would have loved to see in our community. And so you're actually honoring somebody who went and did other things other than just be a doctor. And so you're allowing that for everybody. It's wonderful to be able to see that people have that option. So really exciting things. Final thought, as we've got about 20 seconds left. At Fletcher.
So we are doing a lot of exciting new stuff at Fletcher. And so I would just encourage all of our community that if you haven't checked us out, or if you think you know what Fletcher's about,
go check it out.
Go check it out. Come see us.
Website?
www.fletcher.edu.
Easy to get to.
Absolutely.
Dr. Strickland, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation. Happy to be here.
All right, very good. And that will do it for us here for this segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming here on HTV.